All right. Can everyone hear me? Please drop in the chat box if you can hear me. I know, Will, you just asked if you can hear me. Perfect. So we're going to get started. Thank you very much for joining Xpresso Delight franchise webinar here today. We're really excited to have everyone that's on, and we know you've probably already talked to at least one of us or at least found some information, and we're really excited to get you on here. Now, if anyone has any questions throughout, please feel free to drop them in the chat box. We're going to be answering all of those at the end, and hopefully I can answer most of them throughout the presentation. But we're here to give you as much information as you need about the Xpresso Delight franchise opportunity. So again, welcome, and I hope I get to speak to you directly soon, and maybe even meet face-to-face at one of our discovery days. So I'll get started. Where we always love to start and is a good little history cap is about our story and where Xpresso Delight started. So we were founded in 2003, and it originated from the idea of really trying to create a cafe quality experience in an office environment that wasn't present all the way back 15, 16 years ago, and realistically isn't really present here today in the United States. We have three core pillars that I'll go into a little bit later that really makes our franchise opportunity and business concept unique. But Paul Crabtree and Stephen Spitz, the two founders of Xpresso Delight, they both had C-level executive experience as well as owning other businesses before, and they really wanted to create a business concept that was working around their lifestyle and their idea of work and business life. And long story short, they started to look at a number of different ideas, which probably most of you are now as well. And they found coffee in general, and then that led them into office coffee. And how the story started was they started to just place a couple of coffee machines in some of their clients' offices from other businesses that they had before Xpresso Delight. And then from that point, it started to grow pretty rapidly. And then it turned into a franchise a year later. And the reason it went into a franchise concept was a lot of the employees at their clients' locations, as well as friends and family, were saying, hey, like what you're doing sounds really interesting. How do I get involved? And that's when they came up with the Xpresso Delight franchise model. So since that point, we've sold over 200 franchises internationally. We're in Australia, New Zealand, and obviously now here in the United States. And we're very excited to obviously grow the concept here. I'm going to go into a little bit about our concept and what we've done, but we've had a lot of great success already here in the US, and we're really excited to grow this across the country and open new territories and markets and show everyone that coffee has changed and there is a better quality option and experience out there, and it's at an affordable price as well. So as I said at the start of the call, I'm Nigell Lee, the CEO and President of Franchise Operations of Xpresso Delight. So I lead all our franchise operations in relation to franchisee onboarding and training and growth. And then, as I said before, I'm really excited to hopefully meet some of you. And my history was, I started all the way back in 2010 with Xpresso Delight as an area developer. My role was twofold. One, I owned and operated my own franchise. So day to day, I was doing everything all our franchisees were and was growing a franchise, servicing our coffee machines and dealing with the customers day to day. And my second role, and probably the most important one, was as an area developer, I brought on new franchisees in Western Australia, the territory that I managed, as well as trained and supported them. And in a short period of 18 months, we doubled the size of that territory. And we grew it twofold in both franchise sales and coffee machines placed. And from that point, Paul and Stephen and I were talking one day, and the United States opportunity came about, and I jumped at it pretty quickly because obviously it's a very big market. There's a lot of people here, and a lot of people drink coffee. So we saw the opportunity pretty quickly, and since that point, we've got it to where we are today. And now, as I said, we're very excited to take it to the next level with our franchise partners and take it from there. Now, I just want to quickly touch on Oakscale. More than likely, you would have either already spoken to someone from Oakscale, either Josh or Joe and Christian, or somebody else. But we partnered with Oakscale back late last year, mainly for the fact that we really wanted to concentrate on brand growth and supporting our franchise network, and not necessarily be doing the day-to-day of franchise recruitment. So if you do speak to someone from Oakscale, that's normal. That's our process, and we really allow them to bring us high-quality franchise candidates. And if you get to speak to me, then obviously you pass that filter, and I'd be really excited to obviously take it to the next step and get you to Discovery Day as well. So just before I start and kind of dig deep into the concept and then how the franchise opportunity works, I just wanted to give everyone a quick update on what we've done so far this year or in the last couple of months, and where we're really building to with this concept, and why there is a lot of urgency with a lot of the candidates coming through our pipeline. And why most of them are taking pretty swift and quick action just because of the activity that we are having. So you may or may not have seen, we just newly awarded a franchise to two friends in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. It was an exclusive multi-unit deal. So where we're really pushing for right now, and what I'll touch on is a little bit later, is what we're calling brand growth partners in specific territories that really want to take advantage of our business concept, have the exclusive rights within that territory, and really be able to grow it out over a period of time and partner with us for the long term. So we're really excited about that. It's our first exclusive deal. We have a few more in the pipeline. You can see we have some upcoming territories that are close to being awarded. One of those is one franchise partner that's looking to take down 3 separate territories, being Atlanta, Charleston, and Houston, and that's another exclusive deal we are very, very excited about. And then we have another great candidate that is, I think, signing early next week. That'll be a unit deal in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. So we have probably half a dozen other cities, being LA, Boston, Austin, behind that in Texas, that we're very close to pushing down the pipeline as well. But as I said just before, we have a lot of activity, and we're really excited if some of you are outside of these territories I just mentioned, because we very much are excited about growing, and we really want to support the people that we're going to be working with. And that's why we're looking for specific partners that have the resources and mindset and experience necessary to really grow this out aggressively and take advantage of the proven system that we already have. Okay, next. So we have, all right, so where we're going to start here is where we see the problem is in the market already, and why we believe that we have the right concept for the United States in the office coffee market. So simply put, and in 4 words, office coffee is broken. So most of the time, many solutions that are out there are either slow to prepare, poor, they're not really getting cleaned over a period of time. They're either using plastic capsules that are pre-ground coffee that are sitting in there for long periods of time and obviously aren't great for the environment. And they're not using high quality coffee machines that are being cleaned and serviced regularly as well. So I think from our point of view, what we're really trying to allow people to understand is that in the rest of the world, coffee has really progressed over a period of time from just standard pre-ground coffee in large pots or containers to pre-packaged capsule pre-ground coffee into now what we believe is the new wave, but has been around for at least a decade in the rest of the world, but is really just coming to the United States, is the whole bean, fresh milk, espresso-based coffee options, and really trying to provide a cafe quality experience into the market that isn't really offered anywhere else there as well. So how we achieve that, and where we really think our value proposition is, and why our franchise partners are really excited to get on board, is that we believe there are 3 core pillars that really make up the Xpresso Delight solution and a cafe quality experience. And they are: 1, high quality commercial grade coffee systems; 2, using a whole bean 100% Arabica coffee blend; and thirdly, which kind of ties this all in, is what we call our coffee as a service model, which is just simply the customer service element that we tie into this, related to our weekly cleaning service and just the rapport and the relationship that we build with the client. So as I just said at the start, we call this the Xpresso Delight solution, but with us, we've been developing this over 15 years. We've now proved the market out here in the United States and the concept, and we're really excited to kind of take this to the next level as well. So the first one that I want to go through, and I'll kind of touch on each of those pillars because they are very important. And just going quickly back to that, what we have found in the market today, and what we have found even in Australia and New Zealand still, is that typically vendors that supply coffee into the office corporate market generally do one of these pillars, but they generally either do it okay or good, but they're not doing all 3 of them that really creates a high quality product and service into the market as well. And that's where we're taking advantage of, is that you need to really do all 3 of these well to get it right. So maybe one vendor might sell a good coffee machine, but then doesn't do anything on the coffee side, or they sell the coffee machine, but they're not really doing the cleaning and maintenance to do the upkeep. And I could go on and on, but there's a lot of clear benefits and features of our system. But the simple one is if you wrap a noose around all of them, that's how you get the high quality service that we provide. So the first one being the coffee machine. So as you can see, they look fantastic. They're high quality commercial grade and then what we call fully automatic. So essentially what that means is you press one button and it can make anything from a normal black coffee to a latte, cappuccino, flat white, espresso, and even a milk-based hot chocolate. And what's really cool about them and what is great for our office clients is that it uses fresh beans for every single cup, exactly like a cafe would. So it grinds each cup fresh, places that into the cup, and then automatically heats and froths the milk that sits in a standalone refrigerator that keeps it cold. And it does a fantastic froth and steaming of the milk as well. So in around about 30 or 40 seconds, you can have that high quality cafe option of coffee in the office. And again, these are commercial grade coffee machines. We partnered with an international coffee manufacturer based out of Europe. Their name is Yura, and we really have a close relationship with them. And we actually are one of their closest partners here in the United States and the rest of the world in relation to commercial coffee machine purchases, just because of the volume we do. And we actually had a meeting recently, which was really interesting, that they're really excited about us moving into other markets because, as I just said before, no one's really covering every single pillar that's necessary to make their coffee machines look as good as what they are. And we're the only one that's doing that. So we're very excited that they back what we're doing. They're a very large company and they put a lot of time and effort into producing these coffee systems, and we take advantage of that as well. The second part of that is obviously just doing a feature comparison against each other option in the market, and where we really find that where our competitors lie are typically in three buckets. The first one is just your typical drip coffee. Clearly that just sits there all day. It's not really of a high quality, and there's probably a lot of disadvantages to having that in an office. Obviously it's very cheap, but obviously very cheap doesn't come with very much after that. The second tier, which is probably the biggest market saturation that we see in the market, is what we call the pod or capsule-based coffee machines. These are the Keurigs of the world, Flavia, even Xpresso. They're pre-ground coffee. They sit in those capsules for a long periods of time. And obviously they're not environmentally friendly. And a lot of them are trying to change that, but not really doing much to that degree. But we believe in the third, where we really sit and where there is really no competition, is the whole bean, fresh milk, espresso-based coffee option market. And the biggest disadvantage that most people have in this market that are trying to sell these coffee machines or lease them or anything else is the high upfront cost, the high contract rate that they need to tie people into. And we take away all that risk on the front end for our clients. We have a no upfront cost model where they get our $7,000 fully automated coffee machines for free. They don't have to sign any long-term contracts. And then we leverage our high quality coffee blend and our customer service to get that longevity out of our client as well. So again, you can do your research and see what's in the market and where this sits. But from our point of view, over 15 years, we've really narrowed down what's out there and what our features and benefits are in advantage to what is out there today. The next is the 100% Arabica coffee blend. So this is our own proprietary roast. It's a multi-region blend. It is from 3 regions from around the world: Brazil, Colombia, and Papua New Guinea. And really what we've done for our franchise network is created a supply chain that is just in time, and you're able to take advantage of a high quality, freshly roasted coffee blend, but without having to do any of the roasting, do any of the warehousing or the shipping. So essentially what happens is as a franchisee, you'll have a list of clients. You'll go onto our online portal. You'll order coffee for each individual client. That will then be roasted fresh each and every week, and it'll be drop shipped directly to our franchisees' clients to their offices. So again, and just to reiterate, because it's a very important part about our whole business concept, is that this is a low initial investment franchise, but also you don't need an office. Typically, you don't need a warehouse. We have all our systems set up so our franchisees can run as lean as possible, so they can take advantage of concentrating on growth and support of their clients and building that customer relationship as well. So again, it is drop shipped direct to your clients, and it adds a really good benefit because it's freshly roasted and shipped directly. The last piece which ties this all in, which is this last pillar as the coffee as a service model, is our weekly cleaning and maintenance schedule. So one of the main roles and responsibilities of our franchisees are obviously generating that relationship and rapport with our clients, and really making sure that your coffee machine is clean and operating like new each and every day. And how we do that is through our weekly cleaning and servicing maintenance schedule. So you'll turn up on site each and every week. Firstly, you record the coffee numbers on the coffee machine, because how we build this business out is we charge a per cup rate. So generally what happens is each and every time they make a cup of coffee, it records that. And that's how we charge our clients. So just to run through the whole model now, I'm on that point, is that we provide the $7,000 coffee machine for free. We provide our proprietary 100% Arabica coffee blend for free. We then turn up on site each and every week and do all the cleaning and maintenance on the coffee machine, and then we charge a per cup rate. So that's why the first thing we do when we're on site is record that, because we want to make sure that we have those numbers so we can invoice the client, and you can obviously reap the benefits of the volume that they're doing on a per cup basis. And then the rest of that servicing element is just making sure the machine's getting its internal clean, that it looks and acts like new, and you're building and having conversations with your contact at the location and or anyone else in that situation too. So it's a pretty simple pay per cup model. And again, they can cancel any time, but because of the high quality and relationship that we build with the customer, we typically have very few people pull out. And we have gone, and we're based out of New York City. We did that on purpose. We wanted to start this business in a very high competitive city with a lot of competition, not just being our office competition, but also cafes on every single corner. And we get a lot of raving reviews, and we've gone up against anyone and everyone, and it's working extremely well, and it will continue to work really well. So again, and just to quickly cover off, I just want to quickly cover these three core pillars because it's the most important conversation about our whole concept, is that you really need to tie all these three things together. The high quality coffee machines, the high quality coffee blend, and ours is proprietary, so no one else can use it unless they use our franchise network, and then our weekly cleaning and maintenance schedule, which is the Xpresso Delight solution. So again, I think when you're looking into the market and looking for ideas of who this may fit for, what our core market is the office corporate market. And the reason we go into offices is because it's our bread and butter, and it really allows us to get high volume pretty easily. So typically we're targeting companies with 20 or more employees in an office. Clearly, the higher the employee count, generally the higher the volume. But we have a lot of advantages when we go into these types of offices, not just because of the taste and the quality, but also productivity. And we see a lot of managers having conversations with us about how their employees are coming to the office early because they're not going to the cafe first, or they're not leaving as much, or if not at all during the day, having to go and stand in a line again to get that cup of coffee that they need throughout the day as well. So there are a lot of advantages. It's just part of taste and quality, but we can go through that. If we get to meet and chat, at Discovery Day, we get to take you to one of our clients' locations, and you get to see the machine operating in its natural environment in an office as well. All right, so now we've been through that concept, and again, I'm just going to kind of pause there and let everyone kind of sit on what I've just been through as our business concept just for a second. And if you have any questions on that, just drop it in the chat box. I'll come around back to it at the end, but I just really wanted to make sure that everyone was thinking about it now if they did have any questions. But again, it's pretty simple. You get to see it live in action if you get to our Discovery Day, which is the most exciting part about our franchise process. So now we'll go into how does the franchise concept work, and how does it all tie together to obviously be a scalable business for each and every franchisee. So first and foremost, it's a really simple to operate business, right? So essentially what we've done is we've created a system that allows you to really concentrate on two things. One is growth, so creating relationships with either your own network and referral partners to generate business, and or with some marketing strategies that are very simple and easy that we know that generate results. And the second part is that it's all about customer service. So if I had to say one thing about who we look for as a franchisee, it is the person that understands that customer service is critical over everything else, because we've created the market proven systems. We have them there for you to follow. And all we really need and want people to understand is that if you follow them with a happy customer service point of view, you'll be highly successful in this business as well. So essentially you have four main targets. Firstly, we sell into the market and we start placing these coffee machines. How we do that is with a really simple puppy dog close. We give everyone 2 weeks of free coffee, and that 2 weeks of free coffee typically allows us to go into a market and let them taste the coffee, know that it's consistent, and then form a coffee habit over a 2 week period. And then post that, it's very hard to give that puppy dog back. So that's our real marketing system, is our free coffee trial, and it works extremely well. Once we've installed them and we've done that, we're then on to the servicing component. So the 2 week free trial, past allowing them to taste and experience it, is really allowing us to show them that our customer service is the truth, and that what we do is we really back that up, that if they need anything, or when we're there on a weekly basis, they can see how we operate professionally and in a way that really makes sense for us to be there on a weekly basis. Then obviously the last one, the most exciting one for probably most people, is obviously the earn phase, where we're really allowing people to cash in and generate the high margins we do on the per cup rate as well. So what we're really looking for in a franchisee is a couple of things, and we've developed this over a period of time, really understanding the United States, how each market is built, and what we're really looking to achieve in the long term, and where we can get the best results for you as a franchise partner as well. So as I said at the start, we're really looking to generate partnerships with people that really understand that this is a highly scalable business that has the experience and background with either in business or at a high level, that really can truly build a team and scale this over time, and not just with service people, but really wants to get to 50, 100, 150 coffee machines in a 2 to 3 year period, so they can take advantage of the market. Because one of our clear goals over the next 2 or 3 years is taking as much market share as we can. We are early into this space, but we've done this for 15 years, and it's exactly what we did in 2004. So when Paul and Stephen started this business all the way back in 2004, they really saw that the market really had no solutions such as Xpresso Delight, and they rode that wave really quickly. And the United States is in the exact same spot as what Australia was and the rest of the world was all the way back 10 or 15 years ago. So we know what's coming. We've been through this before, and we're really excited about it. So that's why we're trying to take advantage of it as quickly as we can, take market share, and really partner with the right people that love coffee, hopefully. If you don't, actually, one of my most successful franchisees back in Australia didn't even drink coffee, but she loved the concept so much, and she loved what was most important. She loved how much the people loved Xpresso Delight, and that's what really made her truly a good franchisee as well. So I can't stress that enough. The customer service element or background is obviously really critical in this business, and will make you highly successful as well. We have a number of different franchisees from a number of different walks of life. We have one franchisee who works at Amazon, and he's a high-level executive, and he wanted something that he could really grow a scalable business. We have an ex-cricketer from New Zealand who obviously has a pretty high ability to operate. And then we have a number of different people who have previous businesses or consulting roles. And then, just as an example, the two guys out of Charlotte are a great team. They're actually lifelong friends, or been friends for a long time, and they really wanted to partner on something they could build out. And one has a financial background, and the other one's going to be the operator. But we're really excited. And what I really wanted to run through that for is that, look, there is no real cookie cutter example of who our franchisee is, but the mindset is obviously growth, customer service, and really understanding that we have a market proven system that if you follow, you'll be highly successful in. So if you can understand that, it's going to go a long way to make sure that you are a great franchisee in our system as well. If anyone has any questions on the franchise, how it works, but pretty simply, you own and operate Xpresso Delight coffee systems. I'm going to go through the numbers on that in a little bit. So you purchase those coffee systems outright. You place them into clients' offices. You're then there on a weekly basis to do all the cleaning and maintenance and building of the relationship. And then we charge a per cup rate, which is simply calculated on the coffee machine. So it's a really simple model. There's no high complexity about it. We don't have 1,000 different products to sell. We don't have a retail storefront that takes 12 months to build out. Generally, when you sign a franchise agreement, we can have you up and running, depending on the activity that we have going on, within 4 to 6 weeks. And there's no high leases or high employee counts or anything like that. So it's a pretty simple business to operate, and that's what makes it so exciting for us, is that not only can you scale quickly, but we can build out this concept throughout the country pretty quickly, which is going to help all of us in the long term as well. So, all right. So what we have, when I said before, with our market proven systems, is that we've developed these over 15 years. So we have pretty thorough training, operations, and marketing systems. And just a part of that, how that all kind of comes together and helps our franchisees, is that not only do we have training manuals and operations manuals and an online portal and iPad app and all this cool stuff that really makes a lot of efficiency in our business, we really understood like how to launch a franchise into a new territory. So how we do that is, when you sign franchise agreements, we do 2 days of training, and that's in territory. So everything that we do from a training perspective is within your territory, because that's the most effective way to get your business started. So we choose 2 days of training, and then 2 weeks prior to those 2 days of training, from corporate, we enact what we call our pre-marketing program. And that pre-marketing program is really there for us to generate momentum pre-training. So when you complete those 2 days of training, we can then start to immerse you and your business into the local community as quickly as possible. You start to operate those systems and generate as much momentum as you can. So that can mean anything from doing phone appointments, face-to-faces, free trials, servicing. Really just depends on the level of momentum we generate. And our franchisees are involved in that up towards the start of training. And then post-training, we stay in your market with you for a number of weeks to obviously keep that momentum going and making sure that you're generating the results that you need. But most importantly for us, and what the pre-marketing is about and the training and everything post that, is really allowing you to and to give you time to learn the systems, operate them with us, and be confident that you can do this on your own if and when necessary as well. Now, we're there to hold your hand as much as you need. Some franchisees have us around a couple of days, some have us around a couple of weeks. It really depends on you and what your goals are, and we really dig deep into that pre-marketing and then at training as well. And again, like, your results are our results. That's really important that we can get off to a good start. So obviously then as well, we have obviously a lot of marketing systems to help you sell. We've generated pretty much every marketing system out there, from everything from cold calling to email to digital to direct mail, LinkedIn, you name it. We've tested it, and we have a system out there to allow you to sell in that fashion. Obviously a really simple supply chain, like I said before. And one of the major things that we have generated is very close vendor relationships. So one big part about this business that is very different than most franchises out there, pardon me, I need some water, is that our vendor relationships and our pricing model is very different. So most franchises bring franchisees in, purchase a product, and then put a markup or a margin on top of that product and then sell it to their franchisees, and that's how they make their money. At Xpresso Delight, we do it a lot differently. So we go into the market, we build our relationships with our vendors, and then we negotiate the most aggressive pricing that we possibly can for our franchise network. We then pass that pricing on to our franchisees at cost, so at that exact price that we negotiate with our vendors, with zero rebates or anything else in the background. We pass it on truly and transparently to our franchise network, plus a 7.5% admin fee on top. And that admin fee purely from our perspective to allow us to have the resources necessary to generate these relationships, to test new coffee machines, to test new models out there that really allow us to get high closing rates, and also allow us to get the return on investment possible for our franchisees to have this business make sense. So for us, it's a really cool way for you to come into a business knowing that, look, there is no reason to go out and look for another coffee machine or coffee blend or anything like that to save money, because we've done all that on the front end for you. And all you really need to do is come into this business, get trained, implement our systems, and take advantage of that as well. And then what we tie into that to make this even simpler for our franchise networks is that what we understand is that for any business, the bookkeeping and accounting side is not always the most interesting part of the business, and sometimes one of the most difficult. And so what we created, and is inclusive in our royalty fee, which I'll go through in a minute, is our centralized billing system. So essentially what happens is you go out into the market, you obtain new clients, you place your coffee machines into those clients' offices, and then when you go to bill, that's actually done by us all at corporate. So as I said quickly before, we have an iPad app. You put your coffee numbers each week into the iPad app. That uploads to our portal. We then take that information from the online franchise portal, and we invoice each and every client for you. Once that payment is made from the client into the central Xpresso Delight bank account, is then remitted to you straight away, and then it makes that whole process really simple and easy. So we take care of invoicing, accounts receivable, and typically anything that is more on that accounting side to the client, and we really allow you to have a seamless relationship with your clients. You don't need to be dealing with any of that from that side as well. So we think it's really cool. It's not really that common out in the market, especially not the no margin model on our pricing, and we think it's one of our clear advantages with our franchise model, and I think it's what's going to make us one of the most successful franchises out there when we really get growing as well. So just a quick snapshot on some numbers. Now, what I'm going to suggest is that these numbers are taken from item 19 in our franchise disclosure document, so our FDD. So what I really encourage everyone to do is go and speak to Josh or Joe or someone at Oakscale, and really dig through the FDD, and especially item 19, to really understand how these numbers work. So again, I'm very limited as what I can say to these representations, but I'm going to go through it quickly, and then you can speak to one of our team and we can go through it a little bit further. But I just wanted to cover a few points. So there's three major assumptions that you need to make when you're doing your due diligence on this business. So clearly we're placing coffee machines into offices. So one of the first things you need to look at is the average volume per cup. and that is in how many cups of coffees that they consume on a weekly basis. Because we're there cleaning on a weekly basis, that's our typical invoicing period is each week we generate numbers for. So the amount of cups per week. The second number is the price per cup. And the price per cup is typically ranging from anywhere from 70 cents per cup to $1 per cup for each and every client. And that is determined typically on two things. One, on the volume that client does. So generally, the lower the volume, the higher price per cup. If they do higher volume, clearly it's an advantage for you. So you can give them a better pricing model. And then the third one, which really sticks out as an important number, is that we put each and every client on a minimum amount of cups per week. And typically that number is 150. So what that means is, and I have a couple of examples of this, is we have a finance firm that does about 70 cups of coffee per week, but our minimum amount of cups number is 150. So we charge them at least 150 cups per week, multiplied by a price per cup. And then that gives us the average revenue per week, and then obviously per year when you calculate that out as well. So when you're going through these numbers and you're thinking about this business, what you need to be thinking about is volume per week, price per cup, and then the number of coffee machines you have. And that'll obviously allow you to understand how all the numbers fit together and what you need to do to obviously grow this business to whatever revenue and income target that is desirable for you as well. So as I was saying before, the centralized billing system is free of charge, and it's inclusive of our franchise royalty and support fee. And what is the second part to the no margin model and us passing all our inventory on it at cost is that our royalty rate is calculated on a per cup rate as well. So what that means is, and why we put so much time into our pre-marketing and everything else, is that if our franchisees aren't successful and if our franchisees aren't placing coffee machines and earning that per cup revenue, Xpresso Delight isn't achieving their royalty rate either. So there's very clear aligned goals from franchisor to franchisee. And we did that on purpose. We wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we were all on the same page, and that if you're successful, we're going to be successful as well. And the second mechanism that we put in place, and as you can see, it starts at 15 cents per cup. And then as your business grows and you start to sell more cups of coffee, that will trend down. And what we really wanted to do there was really incentivize franchisees to go out and place more and more coffee machines into the market and grow their business, because you don't only generate more revenue, but you'll generally end up increasing your margin over a period of time, because that price per cup on the royalty would obviously decrease as well. So again, another, I believe, is a really cool thing about our system here in the United States, and why I think it's going to be a really great benefit to our franchise long term as well. So a little bit on the costs associated to get in. So this, again, in the FDD, in the franchise disclosure document, is under item 7. And the two lines that you really need to be looking at right now and be thinking about is the initial franchise fee, the first line, and then the purchase of the Xpresso Delight beverage systems, which is that coffee machine, which is line 2. So the franchise fee is $37,500. So that's for one unit, one franchise agreement in a territory. And as I said before, if you're the type of candidate that wants to go into the market and be a brand market partner and take down exclusivity and really grow this out, we do actually have discounts for multi-unit franchisees that really want to partner with us like that with the long term. So you can talk to one of our teams about that, but the franchise fee is $37,500, and then the purchase of the coffee systems is $25,000. Now that $25,000 represents 5 coffee machines. Each coffee machine is an average of $5,000. So obviously 5 times 5,000 is $25,000. So those two numbers obviously equal the initial upfront cost that you need to pay to Xpresso Delight, and all those other figures are figures that we need to represent to our incoming franchisees on potentially what they may need. But again, we can go into more detail of that later, but I wanted to cover it so everyone knew how our system comes together. And you start with 5 coffee machines, and then after those initial 5, you can purchase any number of coffee machines at any time to grow, 1 at a time, 2 at a time. Whenever you need a coffee machine, you buy in intervals of 1 at approximately $5,000 each, and that allows you to not have a high investment cost and be able to scale over a period of time without investing too much money in the market as well, initially and upfront as well. All right, so we're coming towards the end. So if anyone has any questions, please start to put them in the chat now. I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. I do see one from Will, and we'll cover that in a second as well again. But so basically what's next is the timeline and getting in touch with us. So at the top of your screen, you should just have a little button that says apply here. So if you haven't already filled out our franchise application, I would certainly say to go and do so. That just allows us to get to know you a little bit more. It allows us to give you the franchise disclosure document and then book in a one-on-one call with me to answer any and all of your questions more personally. So if you just, where it says there's a green bar with a red button that says complete the XP franchise application, that's where we need to start. And then from that point, we take you through the process. And after you have the application completed and then you set up a call and speak with me, the most exciting part about this whole process and the most important for us is the discovery day. So you get to fly to New York when you're ready. You get to come to one of our clients' locations. You get to see the machine operating in an actual live client. You get to see people using it. We get to use it yourself. You get to taste the coffee. And then we take a short walk over and we get to sit down and answer all of the questions and get to know each other a little bit more so you can make sure that obviously you've done all your due diligence necessary. And then we go into obviously the franchise agreements and everything else. But again, it's a pretty simple and easy process. Complete the application above. If you've already been in contact with someone from Oakscale and you click on this and then you lose the link, just reach out to them and they'll be able to pass it on. But it's a pretty quick and simple questionnaire, again, just to get to know you a little bit more so we can make a decision about you in a local market as well. So I'm going to go to one question I know that's there. So I know, Will, you mentioned you live in Atlanta. I was hoping for that market. Is there any point to continue it? Yeah, definitely so. So we have a candidate that's obviously looking, but as you probably know, with any sales process, that is still available, and until it's signed and done, it's obviously still open. So again, if you haven't filled out the application, do it. If you have, then just reach out to one of the guys at Oakscale and they'll be able to take you through the process, and we'll get you on the phone pretty quickly and start moving you through the application process and moving you down due diligence, and that'll probably allow you to secure what territory you want as quickly as possible as well. Go ahead and time this more. Clarification. So how does the company pay, i.e. app, credit card, etc.? Yeah, so we, as I said before, the centralized billing system invoices the client. Then the client can pay one of a number of ways, either by check, by ACH or wire, and or by credit card. So that then goes directly into the Xpresso Delight account and then gets remitted straight back to the franchisee minus any royalty fees. So it's a pretty simple process. We take care of all that on our side, so it's already set up. You don't have to set up any of that accounting system or banking or anything like that for the client payments, and that's all taken care of. What happens, next question, what happens if the coffee or milk runs out midweek? Great question. So that is taken care of by the client. So whether they take one of our coffee machines or do their own thing, there's always someone on site that is day-to-day taking care of the coffee system. So that's everything from filling up the coffee beans to replenishing the milk, to doing anything that's necessary when we're not on site. So what we make sure is that they have enough coffee beans to last at least a week, enough of any other supply that is left on site. And we're really just making sure that they can operate it as cleanly and as smoothly as possible. And then when we're on site, we still top up those things and do whatever is necessary. But again, there's always someone on site that does that too. Can I explain the 150 per cup week minimum? Yeah. So how it works is we charge each and every client on a per cup basis. So for every single cup that they consume. The only difference in that is that if they fall below a minimum amount of cups that they sign in their contract for, we charge that minimum amount of cups. So typically what we suggest to franchisees is make that 150. So if they do, for example, 95 cups in 1 week, but the minimum for 150, you charge them for 150. But if they do 500 cups, then you'll obviously charge them for 500 cups as well. All right, I think I've answered those questions. If there's any, pardon me, if there's any more, please type them in now. Otherwise, I'll give it like 30 seconds and then we'll probably wrap it up. But again, hit the little green bar and red button at the top just before I go, fill out the application, and then we'll get everyone else into the process. You get to chat to me directly. I can answer all the questions that you could possibly think of that I think will probably come up once you get off this call and webinar. So again, I think that's it. So thank you everyone for your time. I appreciate you being on here. I hope it was very informative. I'm looking forward to speaking to any and all of you very soon and hopefully get to meet you face to face at Discovery. And I hope you get to taste one of our coffees. Thank you. Enjoy your night.